Hello, Cardinals. We're going to be reading Introduction to Cell Types on pages 29 through 31 in your textbook. Introduction to Cell Types. A cell is the most basic unit of structure and function in an organism. All living things are composed of either a single cell, unicellular, or multiple cells, multicellular. Cells perform all the activities necessary for life, including reproduction and growth. To perform these activities, all cells have certain characteristics in common. These include a cell membrane, which controls the passage of all substances in and out of the cell, cytoplasm, a gel-like fluid that fills the cell, and something that controls the life of the cell. That something can be a nucleus or genetic material that is less organized. There are two basic types of cells. Prokaryotic cells do not have a membrane around their genetic material. Eukaryotic cells have a large membrane has a large membrane-bound nucleus that controls the cell's activities, including reproduction. Eukaryotic cells also have a membrane-bound organelles, structures within the cytoplasm that break down food, move waste, and store materials. Prokaryotic cells are also generally much smaller than eukaryotic cells. All prokaryotic organisms are unicellular. They include bacteria and archaea. The archaea are organisms that are capable of living under extreme conditions, such as high heat and pressure. Unicellular eukaryotic organisms include protists and some fungi. Protists are not an official category of organisms, but the term is generally used to include a variety of single-celled eukaryotes. They range from the animal-like amoebas to the plant-like algae to the fungi-like slime molds. Multicellular organisms are composed of eukaryotic cells. These are the organisms that are most familiar and visible to us. They include plants and animals. Not only do these organisms have many cells, but they're also composed of cells of different types. For instance, the human body has over 200 different types of cells, including muscle cells, nerve cells, and skin cells. Each of these cell types has a specific job to do in the body and are arranged into various tissues and organisms. If you look at that picture, there are two different diagrams there, and it says, look carefully at these two cell diagrams. What do you notice is similar between the two types of cells? What are some differences you observe? Eukaryotic cells contain several different organelles in their cytoplasm. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of eukaryotic cells. They break down food and release energy. The endoplasmic reticulum, or ER for short, is a folded membrane that moves materials around the cell. Tiny ribosomes, either attached to the ER or floating in the cytoplasm, make proteins. Ribosomes receive instructions as to how and when to make proteins from hereditary material, or DNA, in the nucleus. Golgi bodies then collect proteins and move them to the outside of the cell. Vacuoles function as storage sites. These fluid-filled areas may store water, food, waste, and other materials. Lysosomes, found only in animal cells, form the cleanup squad. They break down waste, and when a cell dies, they work to break down the cell. Plants have several organelles that are not present in animal cells, including cytoplasts, central vacuoles, and cell walls. Chloroplasts capture the energy from sunlight and convert it into chemical energy. The cell wall is a rigid structure outside of the cell membrane that supports and protects the plant cell. When Robert Hooke looked at plant cells, what he observed were the cell walls of his specimen. The central vacuole is a feature of many plants. While it takes up most of the room in the cell, it stores salts, nutrients, and proteins. It aids in plant growth, and it helps provide support for the plant. Look at these figures of the cell of plant and animals on the facing page. Notice the similarities and differences between the organelles of a plant cell and an animal cell. So, as you look here, you have different types of cells that are in humans. It says, human cells take many forms. The shape of the cell is often due to its function. So you can see skin cells, cardiac muscle cells, that'd be like heart cells, skeletal muscle cells, all right, blood cells. And off to the right, you have two different diagrams. The top is a plant cell, the bottom is an animal cell. And as you look closely, you'll notice that some of the organelles between the two are the same, and some of the organelles between them are different. So once again, Panthers, this has been Introduction to Cell Types. If you have any questions, please contact your teacher.